All right, so let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION this morning, where the recent cyber attacks have been a bit of a wake-up call for the American establishment. While Donald Trump has tried to downplay the entire incident, his successor, Joe Biden, who will be taking office on the 20th of January, has promised some pretty stern action against Russia. The Biden team is reportedly considering its options. They are hoping to strike a pretty difficult balance that is establishing deterrence by imposing a high financial cost on Russia and at the same time not escalating the matters to a Cold War-like situation. The Biden has promised a more hawkish US policy towards Russia, but his options will become clear only once he enters into the White House, and that is still exactly a month away. Until then, any US response will of course come from Donald Trump, but the US president, the incumbent one, does not seem very keen on a tough response against Russia. He has cast doubts on American intelligence by alleging that it could be China that could be behind the attacks. The Biden, for his part, has vowed a pretty strong response. He has promised tough financial repercussions on individuals and entities who are found guilty of carrying out these cyber attacks. But what exactly are his options? Firstly, sanctions. The most obvious target would be the SVR, Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, that they are believed to have orchestrated the last week's hacks. And the US Treasury Department has already sanctioned multiple Russian security agencies like the FSB and also the GRU. So sanctions against the SVR would not be unprecedented. And also America's radar will be Russian oligarchs, many of whom maintain pretty close ties to Vladimir Putin. But a real body blow would of course be to cut off Russia from the SWIFT bank transfer system. This could of course cripple Russian companies. They would no longer be able to process payments to and from foreign companies. But there is a catch. Such a move would impact Europe's energy supplies. Europe would no longer be able to deal with Russian energy firms. The question of course is, can Biden get America's European allies on board for this plan? Finally, the US could of course launch cyber attacks of its own. The Pentagon's Cyber Command could knock out Russian phone networks and internet. What Joe Biden chooses to do will of course depend on two factors. Firstly, how much support can he get from Europe? And secondly, how far can he push Russia without drawing a pretty stern response from the Russians? So it's been a little over a week since the American government discovered that several of its top agencies, in fact, were the target of what is being described as one of the biggest cyber attacks that the country has ever witnessed. It was first discovered by the US cybersecurity firm I, and every day more developments have of course come to light. While the full scale and consequences of the attack still remains unclear, let's get through and bring you up to speed with what we know so far and also what is still not known. So what exactly has happened? According to reports, it's being said that the hack began as early as March. The malware was snuck into the updates of a software called ORION, made by a company called SolarWinds. It provides management services to not only the most Fortune 500 companies, but also to government agencies across Europe, US, Asia and even Middle East. Now, the malware allowed hackers remote access to an organization's network, and this, interestingly, allowed them to steal information, including monitoring emails and other internal communication. So what's been affected? At least about 6 US government departments reportedly have been affected, from Energy, Commerce and the Treasury Department. Reports also say that the National Nuclear Security Administration's networks were also breached. Microsoft has said that dozens of security and non-governmental organizations were also affected, not only in the United States but also in Canada, Mexico, Spain, the United Kingdom and the United Arab Emirates. Microsoft has confirmed that it has found evidence of malware on their systems. So as investigations into the cyber attack continue, there are still many things which remain very unclear. Now, mainly, it is about what information has already been stolen and how this is being used. The hack was also so big in scope that experts still don't have an idea of the scale of this intrusion. A cybersecurity expert has said that it will take many years to know as to which networks the hackers managed to sneak into and control. Meanwhile, President-elect Joe Biden is yet to present a clear plan on how he'll deal with the fallout of the cyber attack, but the alleged involvement of Russia is a reminder that Moscow will of course continue to be a bit of a foreign policy headache for the incoming president, although the incumbent president, Donald Trump, never really treated Russia as a nation that he would look at with concern.